Okay, we are live. It is 12:45, early Sunday morning. Can't believe I'm saying that because it's been a pretty quick week. 225, 2024. Tonight we're going to be going over some of the cases that have been going on across the country. I want to do a little bit on Chad Doerman and a couple other cases, check in on Audrey Cunningham maybe, and Elijah Vu, and a few other things. So let me... I'll play my intro here and then I'll be right back. I think. Hope everybody's having a good week. Okay, so here we are. Hello, Miranda Lee. How are you? Thank you for coming in. First thing I want to do is I was just watching Southern Gal. She's still live, I think. So if anybody wants to go over there and check her out, she's still live. But I'm going to be trying to cover a couple of cases tonight. Definitely Chad Doerman because he's been in the news again. But what I want to do first, it's absolutely freaking freezing out here, but it's supposed to warm up soon, hopefully this week because I got to fix my back brakes now in my car. I just replaced the front brakes and now I got to replace the back brakes. That's just how it goes. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to New Hampshire. And we are going to, give me a second here, open up a window here. That's a second. I'm going to go to the verdict of Adam Montgomery. because this was freaking awesome. It was pretty close, in my opinion, here, because I want to play that one. Let's do this one right here. Hold on a second. Let me share this. It's going to be a commercial too, so hold on a second. So we'll watch the verdict again. He wasn't even in the court, but I think he's going to have to be there for the sentencing. I'm not sure. But all right, so let's play the sound here.
Mr. Foreperson, it's the court's understanding that the jury has reached a verdict in this matter.
That's correct.
As to charge ID 1937947C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree assault, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Yes.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
As to charge ID 2027112C, charging the defendant,
Yes.
Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree murder, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr.
I have to say that, I pretty much know he was guilty, but the way that trial was going, man, I don't know. It's he said, she said type thing. Kayla basically lied to everybody in the courthouse. I don't know. The defense to me was doing a pretty good job trying to get rid of some of the stuff, but in the end of the day, everybody made the right decision, especially then when the jury went to day two. I'm like, what could they be possibly thinking about? What's going on? But they made the right decision, and I watched the whole thing. It was just so awesome. Guilty on all counts. He'll never see the light of day. He's such a piece of dog shit. I think there's, they probably. I'm pretty sure Kayla knows more than she's saying, but they got the right guy. That's all I care about. So, all right. So let's finish this up here.
Mr. Foreperson?
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And as to charge ID 2027113C, charging the defendant with the crime of falsifying physical evidence, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027114C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of abuse of corpse, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027115C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of tampering with witnesses and informants, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I want to thank you for your service. You've performed an important civic duty, and that is as to the alternates as well as all the deliberating jurors.
Okay, so I think that's that. I also want to play. Give me a second here. I also want to play this one here because this is coming from the mom. So hold on a second. Let me play this here. Like I said, I hope everybody's having a good week. It's been a quick week for me. I don't know why. It just seems like it went by pretty quickly. So this is the mom speaking out. Whoops. Sorry.
Family members leaving the court. Let's take a listen.
So
you were here most days.
Yeah.
This trial, I guess, was there anything that stuck out to you?
How hard was it for you to hear some of these awful details?
I've heard it so much over the last 4 years.
I do want to say two things, though. One, I think a lot of people are guilty in this case. I mean, he's definitely the guilty one, but they need to start rethinking some of these things. I think the case, the state that she's going to go after the state here for some of this stuff is warranted. I mean, they had no business giving this kid to this guy. I mean, it's just to me, it's just absolutely criminal what they did too. So that's just my opinion.
Years, it just was a lot different hearing it from their mouths than reading it. It was very hard, but I have to stay strong for my boys.
I mean, it just seems like nobody cared about this kid. It just, it's just so sad. It just is. They literally ripped this kid away from foster parents and put her in the worst possible situation imaginable.
I'm going on 5 years clean, and I'm proud.
I mean, just put yourself in her shoes, right? The kid's shoes. Every time she got in that car, just the stress of knowing that if you made a mistake, you were going to be in trouble. Just absolutely horrid.
Very proud of that, and this didn't impact that in any way. I know people thought that, but it didn't. And
hey, honeybee, how are you? Good to see you, kiddo. Just going over the some of the stuff in the Montgomery case here. Yeah, she was definitely. All I'm saying is just the stress. Just the stress of that. The more I've had kids, the more you stress them out about, accidents like that, the more they're going to do it. It's just the stress factor. It's just, and she was in the worst possible scenario for that situation. I mean, it's just a horrible situation. But I think the state is just as responsible, in my opinion. They had no business giving her to him. They should have just left it the way it was.
And this can only make me stronger from here on out. I'm her voice. I'm the person that's going to carry her on besides my loved ones, carry her memory, and make sure that no one ever forgets about her.
Crystal, I'm sure it's hard to hear.
This guy, Adam Montgomery, he's lucky that, this state doesn't have the death penalty because I'd love to see that. I really would. This guy's the worst possible human being you could ever imagine. Like, he's just, I say all the time, he's nothing but a piece of dog crap, but even dog crap has a, purpose. This guy has no purpose whatsoever in life. And he deserves the worst punishment imaginable. That kid was so cute, just sucks.
Do you believe the version of events that they said happened in the courtroom? Do you believe that's what happened to your daughter?
What the defense said?
What the prosecutor said?
Yes.
Kayla said.
Yes. I believe that.
You've gotten your strength.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, there's so many people that got away with stuff in this case. It's like, that's why I was nervous a little bit when the jury was out for more than 4 hours or so, and they went to the other day. I'm like, what could they possibly be contemplating? I mean, the guy's guilty, but like I said, the trial. I mean, some of the witnesses, their testimony was kind of suspect, to be honest with you. But I think what cinched it was that forensics guy. That's just my opinion, but how could he not be guilty? This is my thing.
But the fact that Adam wasn't in the courtroom even on the day that they delivered the verdict. What is your reaction that he wasn't here today to hear those words and sit there and listen to that?
No, they did a great job. When they finally found out that she was missing, they were right on this. They were like on this like flies on shit. They did a great job coming up with a case. Hats off to the prosecutor because, like I said, the defense did a pretty good job, especially the woman there. And I think the guy pissed some people off when he was really questioning the legitimacy of some of these witnesses. But hats off to the prosecution, the state. They did a great job.
He's a coward. He's a coward. He's always been a coward. Hence why he did what he did. He took away from the people that loved her because he couldn't hack that he didn't have control. That's all he cared about was control of everything in his life. She wasn't anything to him.
Crystal, what's next?
A lot. I just can't say yet.
Crystal,
Do you
what
plan
are
to
your
be
thoughts
there
of
for
Harmony
sentencing?
right now as this verdict comes down?
She's here with me, and she is the one that keeps me strong every day.
He was held accountable today. Is there other people that should be held?
I mean, unfortunately, I don't think they're ever going to find her. I mean, that's just a sad thing. But who knows? I may be wrong. I'll be going over that too in a little bit.
Accountable for what happened, including the state of Massachusetts, the state of New Hampshire?
I won't talk about that.
Will you be there for sentencing? And
I mean, look at her. What could she possibly do? You know, to receive that type of, just this case really hit me. That's why I've been following it for a while. It's just, you can't, unfortunately, you can't change it, but you can cover it. Hopefully, stuff like this doesn't happen again.
give an impact statement. He is supposed to be there for sentencing. Are you looking forward to seeing him and maybe confronting him?
Yes, I'll be there, and I'll be looking him in the face.
Maybe it's because I have girls. That's probably why. But I'm a parent too. I like, these things hit me too. Just there's no sense for this. No sense at all. None.
I say my impact statement because he can't get away from that. He has to be there. So he has to listen.
After all is said and done, would you say justice has been served for your daughter?
We're almost there.
And I also feel bad for the brother too, because the brother's going to have to, deal with this at some point in his life.
We're almost there.
Crystal, they mentioned that in closing, that your daughter was robbed of dignity, she was robbed of peace, and she was robbed of a tombstone, a place to go. She's still out there somewhere. How important is that part of this? It's not over for you.
That's still a huge part of it. It's not over. It's not going to be over until she's found, and we are still looking. The police, we as a family, we are still looking.
And Crystal, your message to everyone that has really been impacted and touched by this case?
I just want to thank everybody for the love and the support, and for the people that believed in me and reached out to me this whole time and never doubted me. The people that know me have known my whole life. They know how much I love my.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good news. It's not easy to do that. Years ago, I battled some addiction too with alcohol, so I know how hard it is to do that. You do anything for your kids. That's basically the bottom line.
My daughter. They know how much I fought for her, and I did everything I could. And when I didn't have anything left, I still tried. So for the people that doubted me, they don't matter to me. They're not a thought in my mind.
Do you have a message for Adam today if he's listening to any of this or heard the verdict? What would you say to him today?
That I hope that what he did plays over in his mind every single waking moment that he lives on this earth.
It's not going to, unfortunately, because he's just a narcissistic. I'm not a professional, but he's just not human. Just not at all.
I hope that he never falls asleep without seeing her beautiful face.
Did you think that this day would come? I mean, you struggled with this, you're going to find her. Did you ever think that this day would come?
I knew it would, because that's why I did all that I did, so that it would.
Did it give you any solace at all?
A little bit of peace, but she's still out there, so that's what I think about.
I literally screamed and jumped up and down when the verdict was read. It was just so awesome. Hey, Southern Gal, sorry I had to leave your stream. I made it till I babbled on it. We love your lives, Southern Gal. I was there till the very last second. I had to let the dogs out. I was on your live last night here, but then I had to go to work, and I dropped my phone in the sink, so my phone wasn't working while I was driving. So that's why I have so many phones here that are just carcasses of phones, because I drop my phone all the time. Just going over this mom here with the Harmony Montgomery thing.
About every day.
What are your
is
thoughts on all the work police have done already and continue to do?
oh the police have been amazing. They still reach out to me and tell me all of the they're doing, and
It's so funny too because I'm so careful with phones. Maybe I should just not be, but it happens all the time. One time I had my coffee in my console in my car and I just put my phone down and it went right inside the coffee. It's just I'm not good with phones at all.
they all showed up here today to be there for her. That meant a lot to me.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Crystal, thank you so much. Thank you.
I do feel bad for the mom, but all right, hold on a second. I want to play. Let's stop this. I did want to play that too. Whoops. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I want to play the. I want to play the prosecutor too. His statements. Hold on a second, prosecutor. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it right here. Because I think it's important what he said too. Give me a second. This is Benegatti. He did. This guy here did a fantastic job.
It's my understanding folks might have a couple of questions. We've just had our verdict upstairs with regards to the state versus Adam Montgomery. He was found guilty on all the charges that were pending against him. That included second-degree assault for punching and causing a black eye on Harmony back in July of 2019, as well as for all of the offenses that he was charged with, that the guilt.
Yeah, I've done that before too, right in the toilet. But this time it was not so bad because the sink wasn't terribly wet. So
jury found him guilty of beyond a reasonable doubt for the second-degree murder of his daughter, Harmony Montgomery, as well as falsifying physical evidence, the abuse of her corpse, and witness tampering with regards to Kayla Montgomery. So those I know are certainly the charges. I'm happy to take questions at any time.
And we're interested to know how you're feeling in this moment.
Very, very grateful for the jury. This is a very, very difficult case in terms of the number of witnesses that had to testify, that they had to listen to. This jury had to pay attention to 50 witnesses in a little over the course of roughly 8 days. That's a lot of testimony. There's a lot of different factors. You had multiple different charges. They had to consider the July crime separate from what occurred in December and on forward. That's a lot of work for a jury, and they have done that very, very well. And so we were greatly appreciative to the jury's time and attention. They had to listen to facts that the Manchester Police Department and that the community have lived with. And I think a lot of people didn't really know all the facts until they actually heard and saw the witnesses at trial. And as a result of that, again, we're very, very grateful for the jury for their time and their attention on this. And it's a very big relief that they have seen through and that they've held him accountable for the actions that he's committed.
And as prosecutors and law enforcement, I know this isn't about you, but I can't help but notice that there were some tears in your eyes. This case was different. Talk about that and why.
I would say, I don't know if I would say it's different, only because I know other statements that I've heard in the past is to say, why was so much time and resources put towards this little girl? And sometimes
I will say one thing: whoever put the microphone by the water bottle needs to be fired. I mean, we didn't need to hear the water bottle being poured every second of this trial. That's just my opinion.
Even from others saying, well, where are the resources for these other cases? Every person who has their life taken from them on murder, whether it is a 5-year-old child or a 63-year-old man or a 45-year-old, every single person has a value of their lives. And so while some have said, why was so much attention here? That attention is something that the Manchester Police Department, that all of the different law enforcement agencies put into every homicide case in this state. And so,
All right, so what I want to do, give me a second here. I'm going to stop this for a second. And yeah, I mean, the water bottle thing was so annoying because you couldn't hear, there were some days you couldn't hear the testimony at all, and you could hear the water bottle perfectly. It's just, all right, so this is where we're going to go to the maps here, but this is where supposedly, so here's Manchester here, and here's 93. Once you get into Massachusetts, you get over to Holborn Bridge, and you go out here. So they're looking in this between Manchester and Riviera Beach, mainly in the Saugus area. But let me zoom in here because this is technically my old stomping ground here in Revere, Mass, with the Italians. So I pretty much hung out down here, and we're in Winthrop and Revere. But this is, I think this is mostly their area of interest here between, and there's a lot of marsh in here. She could be anywhere. Let me show you here. But I know they were in Revere, down in this area here. But mainly, there's the traffic circle there. Okay, so, so he had taken the whole time, he had taken a U-Haul and driven all the way down here. They caught him on the plaza cam, so they know that he took that U-Haul down this way here. So that's why they're looking in this general vicinity. There's a lot of land in here, so that's why I'm saying they'll probably never find her, unfortunately. Hey, Dean, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it's make Dave feel better about the water bottle. So funny. All right, let's go back to this here. Go back to the, and then we'll go to do something else.
So this case was different in terms of some of the attention that it garnered, but not in terms of the value of Harmony's life or the value of anybody else's life being taken here.
I actually think he destroyed the body so bad that even if they do find anything, it's because he probably knows where she is. He just can't say where she is because they destroyed. That's where I think Kayla came in. I think she really helped him destroy that body
in New Hampshire, and having the same attention being brought to it and trying to hold those accountable in a court of law, hold them accountable and have some justice.
There was an extra dimension of community involvement because this started as a missing persons case. And it just feels like there is a more public vested interest in all homicides. I didn't mean to equivocate
That's okay.
This case.
That's
but
okay.
There is a next level to this because of that community involvement from the moment of that New Year's Eve press conference where they said, help us find this little girl.
And that community involvement has been tremendous. Residents in Manchester, but not even just Manchester. So there were residents all around the country who had different tips. We heard some of that at trial with regards to tips that came in from Florida, from Arizona. And those tips were followed up on by partners that we've worked with, the Manchester Police Department has worked with for years. And they were so important.
They must have an area where they're specifically targeting, though, because they seem to be always in this area here.
To being able to find even sometimes very, very minute pieces. Again, at trial, we heard about one particular tip in Arizona that was tracked down. And somebody thought that is worthwhile to call in to try to find somebody who was missing. And that mattered. And you might think it doesn't matter, but it really does matter. And that's the type of work that was done here. And it's not just the Manchester Police Department, although they have been lions in pursuing this case. It's also the work of the partners that they've been able to team up with. That's New Hampshire State Police, New Hampshire Fish and Game, here in this state. As well, I almost gave the list. I got to remember New Hampshire Department of Corrections and their investigative staff, who've done also a fantastic job. Its counterparts in other states, as you heard during trial, Massachusetts State Police, Massachusetts State Police Dive Team, the Revere Police. You've heard in trial, there was also had assistance from the Maine State Police, also from Maine Fish and Game. Our federal partners, Billy Tufts and everybody over there at the U.S. Marshal Service, as well as the United States Attorney's Office here for the state of New Hampshire. You also had a tremendous amount of work by the FBI in the search of 644 Union Street and other work there.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dean. I think that's one of the reasons why the jury might have taken so long, because it's. I mean, she literally lied to the court, so that's one of the reasons why I think they took so long. But I agree with you. I think she's not innocent. That's for sure.
If you want to talk about outside coalitions, not only those other departments, but the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which does this work.
She's going to sue the state. The mom's going to sue the state. She's going to get every penny she deserves because I think the state is just to blame as everybody else is. They had no business giving that child over to him. None. Zippo.
Only on this case, but every missing adult and child that they can help out every day. You're also talking about some outside agencies like New England Canine Search and Rescue, who volunteered their dogs to be able to help search on several different places. That is a community response. It's a national response. And it could not be more appreciated in a moment like right now.
We just heard from Harmony's mother, and you may have addressed this already, but she still hopes to find Harmony. Where does this mean the end of the search for Harmony? What?
Excellent question. And the answer is it does not. One of the things that we could not state before, but we can more clearly state now after the verdict, is during trial, people heard the last place that Adam Montgomery had driven that U-Haul to. And I have some specifics on that. I'm hoping people are paying attention. He had that U-Haul between March 3rd into March 4th in 2020. He drove 133 miles. We heard about that on that U-Haul. Subtracting back the 2.3 miles back and forth, 3.2 from the rental, that left him with roughly a 106-mile road trip all the way down, at least through the Tobin to a bridge.
I mean, they look happy here. That's for sure. In this image here, she looks elated. I mean, it's just it sucks.
We know northbound, southbound, northbound again through those tolls, and then back to Manchester. That only left him with 26 miles of driving that he could have done between where he was at the Econo Lodge in Manchester.
I just freaking hate this guy. I hate this guy's face. I just do.
And going through the Tobin those 3 times. What that means is, and we know that he went through no New Hampshire tolls. So what that means is that she is somewhere along that route. And you heard about the searches that have been done, specifically in the Rumney Marsh Reservation in Revere, around the Sales Creek area, the Chelsea Creek area, behind North Shore Road, Revere Police, Mass State Police.
Yeah, it might have been Mass. I'm not sure. I heard, I may be wrong. I heard she's suing the state of New Hampshire. I don't know.
Have been relentless in searching those areas with the Manchester Police Department. These ladies and gentlemen drove down and worked with them hand in hand. Those are still our big areas of search and our big areas that we're hoping that somebody sees something. Everybody who might have seen the trial also would have seen the CMC bag. And there was a demonstrative that was used during trial. It was the exact same type bag.
If they find that bag, they're going to find her. That's just my opinion. But good luck with that. Yeah, no doubt. The DHS needs. It's awful here in New Hampshire. It's just a terrible, terrible. They're just really bad. Some of the people. Yeah, it was 2 years. She went missing for 2 years, so they had 2 years to drive her around in a car and put her in ceilings and all of that stuff. So, yeah, they had plenty of time. All right, so it's the end of that. I want to go to this too because this guy's been in the news again. And this came out 2 days ago. This guy here, hold on a second. This guy here is back in court. He wants his confession thrown out. The defense wants to throw out this guy's confession. For those who have been here for a while with me, know I've been covering this too. This is coming out of Ohio. This is Chad Doerman.
It's a tough question.
Oops.
Clearly asked for a lawyer during plea.
So this guy here basically unalived his 3 sons last summer, and I should play the arrest, but I played that before. Basically execution style. This was such a horrible, horrible crime, and everybody knows this guy's guilty, and now the defense wants his confession suppressed because of some Miranda rights or whatever. So I'll play this here.
Police questioning, but instead of police stopping their interrogations, they continued. Prosecutors say they have ample evidence to dispute that claim. So we want to get you back into court now. On the stand is Detective Michael Ross. He led the investigation. Let's get you back into court.
I said, Dad, what did he say about Ruby Franklin?
He said that she was in the CIA, and I said,
They came after us a while back too. One of my daughters, she fell in daycare, and daycare never reported it. So they were knocking on our door, and you know, they're just once. That's the thing. They bother people who are good parents, and they just don't do anything about people who are bad parents. You know, so
well, is she a boy?
that's not why I don't like them. I just think the whole system needs to be revamped. That whole they need a committee of 10 to 12 people that make these rules, because I don't know who's doing it. The whole Adam Montgomery thing and some of these other cases of kids that are going on around is just they just don't have a clue. They have no clue. It's definitely not in the best interest of the child. That's for sure.
Lawyer in the CIA, and he said she's in the CIA. So neither name that he gave me were even close to lawyers.
And after that, so you were able to confirm that neither.
Who's about 100 miles from you, Dean? Yeah, they're underfunded, the bureaucracy during. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But like I said, there's people in every field that don't, you know, you name it. There's good people, there's bad people, but I just think the whole system kind of needs to be looked over and revamped, and because this stuff happens way too often.
Neither Keith Doerman nor Ruby Franklin were lawyers, and that he was aware they were not lawyers.
Correct.
And
Yeah, I'll be playing some of that too shortly. The Elijah Vu thing here. I just wanted to go over this too because this guy here is another piece of dog crap, and I think they do have the DP in Ohio. Not sure.
And so once you confirm that neither Keith Doerman or Ruby Franklin were lawyers, what did the defendant do?
He changes the conversation and starts talking to me about whether he knew me or didn't know me. He changes the conversation.
I mean, my wife works in the school system. She's worked in the school systems for a while, and she has stories, and I just can't believe some of the stuff that goes on. It's just, you know, it's just an absolute nightmare that none of these people, some of these people just don't belong being parents. They just don't.
We're talking about lawyers and who I can call, and he completely changes the subject on me to, you know, what I had talked about earlier about knowing him from 2015.
I agree. I'll try to look for the arrest. He's literally sitting there on the porch with the shotgun right next to him. I mean, he literally ran after one of the kids, brought one of the kids back, and unalive. The mother got shot in the hand or something like that. This guy's definitely guilty, and he's he wants his confession suppressed. It's just there should be like a fast line for this guy right to the DP, in my opinion.
So when he changes the context of the conversation, was that in response to a question you had asked him?
No.
So he just says something along the lines of, I don't think I've ever met you before.
Yeah, he just continues talking about something unrelated to the lawyer issue that I was trying to clarify.
So did he ever clarify for you?
No.
So when he changed
I agree with Dean, though. They should have just, hoping he resisted arrest, but he didn't.
the conversation subject, what did you think at that point?
See, the police found the bodies of two of the boys in the yard. Doerman was sitting on the front steps when they arrested him. He was literally sitting right there. Didn't resist, nothing. He did it.
I thought that he was playing games with me and trying to control the interview.
So can you describe the defendant's demeanor as you then continued the interview?
Yes, it continued the same. His demeanor continued to be the same.
Very young. I think they were very young. I think the daughter,
When I would ask
one of the kids, the daughter, I'll look it up.
questions that were unrelated to what had happened that day. He knew the answers right away and had lots of details and could remember things. When I asked him about the tough questions about did you shoot your sons, the things that really showed that he had some culpability in that whole situation, he didn't know and he struggled to answer, and he would rock back and forth in his chair and just had extreme anxiety about those.
So ages 7, 4, and 3. The 34-year-old wife of the suspect was injured in the attack, and her daughter, which was the stepdaughter, was held at gunpoint but escaped unharmed. So there you go.
Those tough questions.
So was there a very different manner in
Yes.
which he would answer you depending on the topic of
Yes, they're all the cutest kids in the world.
the question?
Yes, if it was unrelated to what happened that day, it was very easy for him to answer, and it was very difficult if it was about what happened that day.
And as the interview continued at approximately 1 hour, 35 minutes, 50 seconds into the interview, did the defendant make another reference to a lawyer?
He did. The conversation was about Laura, his wife. We were talking about Laura, and I was asking him questions about Laura. And then he, again, interrupts me and says, "Who's the lawyer?" And at the time, I thought that he said, "Who's Laura?" Because we were talking about Laura. So I looked at him and I said,
Let me hold on a second. I have their image somewhere in here, but so there they are right there. These are the 3 kids. 7. I mean, this is just this happened over the summer, I think. But that's the 3 kids there, and they're basically, hey, have a good night, honeybee. Get some good sleep. See you later. Awesome live tonight by Rick Snay too. Great live. So those are the 3 kids there. Just absolutely horrid. All right, so let me stop sharing this, and I'll go back to that. Yeah, just this is sad. And he wants his confession suppressed. This is unbelievable.
"Who's Laura?" And he corrected me. He said, "The lawyer."
So when he corrected you, he just said the lawyer.
Yeah, he said, "The lawyer."
Did he correct you in any way on the question, who is the lawyer?
No, I said, "Who's Laura?" And he said, "The lawyer."
Honeybee is awesome too. She's a trooper. She does her own stuff. These are the cases. You just sit there and wonder. Get the spotlight on them. Honeybee's awesome.
And did that mean anything to you at that point?
No, I was confused what he was talking about. I was still trying to figure out why we're talking about Laura, and now he's saying, "Who's the lawyer?" So I said, "I don't know. You tell me."
And what was his response?
He just kind of went, "Huh," like like he didn't know either or didn't care.
I wonder if there's an insanity plea in Ohio, because it's obvious what they're going to do. They're obviously going to be going after some sort of insanity plea.
And at any point during the interview, did the defendant deny shooting his sons that day?
Yes, multiple times throughout the entire interview till the very end.
And was there a point during the interview in which the defendant was taken to use the restroom?
Yes, he had made some comments that he believed his wife Laura had poisoned him, and I offered a urine test, which he consented to.
And
yeah, I agree. I mean, this guy needs a fast lane to the DP. There's nobody else that did this. It's him. It's just insanity or not.
so did you escort him to the restroom, or did a uniformed deputy escort him?
No, a uniformed Deputy Greer escorted him to the restroom for that urine test.
And as a uniformed deputy, Deputy Greer would have had a body-worn camera, correct?
He was in uniform and he would have had a body camera, but because he was going to the bathroom for obvious reasons, there wasn't, any type of recording where he would have been exposed or anything like that.
And to your knowledge, did Deputy Greer ask any questions during that trip to and from the restroom?
He did not.
And did you?
I did not.
Were there any other points during the course of the interview that the defendant was left alone in the interview room?
Yes, there were times where I left the interview room where he would be in there with Detective Green. There was times where Detective Green left the interview room and we would be in there alone together. And then there was also a time where we both left the interview room and Mr. Doerman was in there by.
So let me, I'm going to show the arrest here for people. I did a live right after this happened. Pretty sure this was over the summer. It was like right around the time that Titan thing sank. Shortly after that, here it is. All right. So this is when he was arrested here, and when was this? This was June 18th.
Show me your hands now! Stand up and walk to me!
That was the first contact made with Chad Doerman, now charged with the murder of his 3 sons, ages 3, 4, and 7.
Stand up now!
You're literally sitting right there, and there's the gun. It's right there.
You can see a rifle next to him. Moments later, the father is taken into custody without a struggle.
Stand up! Stand up!
EMS is safe and air care is going to go ahead and fly whenever any unit can.
Get your hands out here.
A few seconds later in the video, you can hear one of the
I just don't understand how they can. I mean, I guess picture tells 1,000 words, right? But I mean, he looks pretty sane right there. He's just sitting there on the porch waiting for the police to arrive. I mean, it doesn't look like insanity to me.
deputies asking Doerman what was going on. He responds calmly, saying nothing. The children's bodies laying just feet away in the front yard.
No.
Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you.
Today in court, Doerman was wearing a bulletproof vest, the prosecutor not holding back in his comments about the suspect.
The trauma that this man has inflicted on his family, the community, law enforcement, first responders, and all of the rest of us
Guy right here looks like Steve a little bit.
who have any idea what's going on here is unspeakable.
David.
Oh, that was that was when the arrest happened. So that's what they're talking about here. Yeah, I know, it's a poor mom. She got shot in the hand, I think. Yeah, I agree, Dean. And to me, it doesn't look like he was insane there. He was pretty calm.
All right, we'll step aside, take a break here. We'll have more from that courtroom in Ohio when we come back. Keep it here on Court TV. on the program. And Krista, I'll start with you because I want to get both your opinions on this one. I can tell you, as a defense attorney, when I saw the questioning and I saw the words being used by this defendant, my red flags went right up. Krista, I want to know what you think about this one.
I did too. I think that you're hearing it. Well, it wasn't clear and unequivocal ask for a lawyer, but was it?
Yeah, I think so. I think they were living together. I could be wrong. I'll look it up though. I'm pretty sure.
I think that I think that's a very good argument that
The daughter went running for help. I remember that.
He very clearly asked for a lawyer. He says that, who's my lawyer? Who's the lawyer? He doesn't have to have a lawyer. He doesn't have to have a lawyer on retainer. When he gave his dad's information, that could have been for him to speak to his father, so he could have gotten a name for a lawyer. The fact is that he did request a lawyer. And at that point, all questioning has to stop. You can't continue to question. So you stop questioning and you figure out what's going on. Does he really want a lawyer? Because he had previously waived.
I think what happens though is you don't have to stop questioning. It's just the questioning can't be used against you. You can still question the suspect. Just can't use any of that in court. Once they ask for a lawyer, anything after that is not usable. But you can still question the guy.
His rights. So, you can really kind of maybe nail him down a little bit because it sounds like he might have been a little.
Good night, Miranda. Thank you for coming in. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Off, his mental state at this point might be a little questionable. He wasn't making a lot of sense. So I can understand maybe trying to drill down on it, but you drill down on the point of, do you actually want a lawyer? And if you are unclear about it, I think as a law enforcement officer, you have to stop the questioning until you are clear about it.
And Philip, I think that's what makes this hearing so important, because we know at this point, this guy did something that's reprehensible. There's no defending it.
So the defendant allegedly ripped the 3-year-old child out of his mother's hands and unalived him in the head.
But his rights have to be protected. I mean, he's exactly the type of defendant that needs to be protected. And officers, police, those in power need to understand.
Oh, you're good, Miranda. Miranda's awesome too. Thank you so much for coming in, Miranda. Get some sleep. These days, whenever you can sleep, because it doesn't come around much often. It's elusive. So good night.
And that if someone mentions a lawyer, the questioning has to stop. They have rights just like everyone else. And that's why this is so important, even with these horrible facts.
Of course it is. And this is exactly why a lot of states have passed their own laws requiring all police interrogation interviews to either be videotaped or at a minimum audio recorded, so that it's not a fight between a defendant and law enforcement. The cops can take the stand at a Miranda hearing and just simply say that the defendant was advised of his rights, that he understood his rights, and that he waived his rights. The court needs to actually hear all that. There should be some.
Oh my God, it's just so annoying. Why? I mean, that's not going to change the fact that he didn't, you know what I mean? Just all of these technical things, just the guy's guilty. It just, Lord.
Something in evidence to corroborate it. Otherwise, you're stuck. Now, I must say, though, that the law is pretty clear throughout the nation. Edwards versus.
You poor thing. Are you sick, Southern gal? If you are, I feel bad. That sucks.
Arizona, and of course we.
I used to take NyQuil too until I went nuts. Now I just take my Zoloft and melatonin. I get the gummies. They're awesome. Once I take 2 of those, I'm out like a light.
We have the Minnick case out of Mississippi that says essentially that once a defendant invokes his.
Here's the arrest right here. I should have just kept playing it. I mean, 3, 4, and 7. Slaughtered, literally. Why?
Right to counsel. In other words, says, I want a lawyer. All interrogation by the police must stop. The problem with a lot of defendants is they don't affirmatively ask for a lawyer. They'll say something odd like, where's my lawyer? And the response could be, I don't know, maybe
The fact that he asked for a lawyer is telling me he's not insane. He knew what he was doing.
he or she's in court, or maybe he or she is on vacation, you know, or do you happen to know the status of my attorney? Well, no. How would
Oh, that sucks. Oh, you poor thing. There's a lot of shit going on around there. I don't think so. I mean, I haven't heard anything from him why he did it, or.
But I know.
I do know they're probably going to try to go with the insanity plea or mental illness or something like that, because he's definitely mentally ill. There's no doubt.
As opposed to, I want a lawyer. Once the affirmative demand, that invocation is made, those are the legal constitutional buzzwords for the cops, and they know they're dead in the water. And short of getting him his lawyer or the defendant himself reinitiating communication with the police, they got to stop.
Well, let me ask you
this. And the
this.
remedy is exclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. At least everything up until the point where he asked for a lawyer would be allowed in, but anything after that is a problem. But Krista, you talked about it earlier. He basically says something to the effect of, give me a couple of days, let me talk to a lawyer so I can get my answers right. Something along that line. Does that rise to the
so I can get my answers right
level? Philip makes a good point. You can make these odd statements that can be or are open to misinterpretation, but does this rise to the level?
That statement says to me, I want to talk to a lawyer. And so if he wants to talk to a lawyer, you better get him that lawyer if he can't afford one. You know, because one will be appointed to him. We know our Miranda rights. It is, you know, to Philip's point, I think Philip makes a very good point. You know, that's why it's important that these interrogations are recorded, whether it's through body, you know, the Miranda rights are given with a peace officer.
Why did I do that? Hold on a second. Hit the wrong button. Hold on a second. There you go.
As clear. You know, I don't know that people really speak the way that courts would like us to speak. I want a lawyer. So I think that that's the problem here, is that he didn't use those exact words.
Yeah, that gives them that little window that I think is what the state is arguing as well. All right, stand by, guys. I do want to take folks back to court now. Still on the stand, Detective Michael Ross. He did the interview, this interview that the defense is trying to get thrown out. Let's get back into court for more of his direct examination.
Yeah, very annoying. But she's right. I mean, you know, they have to do things legally, or, you know, it's going to come back to bite them in court. You know, I mean, you want to do so many different things, and, you know, years ago they used to just beat the shit out of the guy, and then
again, it continues recording audio and video. He said, almost like under his breath, like a whisper.
so he confessed to planning the unalivings for several months.
She let me do. Another time, it looked like he was checking the back of his shirt for blood. There was another point where he's looking around and he says, "Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras?" So he was looking for cameras. And then that picture that I talked about earlier was still on the table. There was another point when he was in there by himself where he looked at it and kind of flipped it away from himself, like in disgust.
And all of those things occurred while he was alone in the interview room.
Yes.
Now, in between those times where he was left alone, did you come back in and pick up the interview again?
Yes.
And as the interview continued, did he continue to refuse to talk about what had actually happened that day?
That's what I'm talking about. You know, you want to play by the book, you know, play by the rules. And I say that all the time about the Delphi case, you know. As the prosecution, they should know that these things have to be followed, you know, because they basically hold the strings. They hold all the cards when it comes to this stuff. And I'm telling you, some of these cases, I mean, just look at the Adam Montgomery case. That case, I was kind of nervous the day two there that case was going to be hung, but you know, All it takes is a couple of technicalities, man, and these guys can walk. I don't think this guy's gonna, but it can happen.
Yes, he said that he didn't remember, he didn't know, he didn't understand why he was there.
But did he provide you with other information that made you believe he was aware of what was going on and what had happened that day?
Yes, because as the interview went on, it was like a slow drip of information. I would gain a little bit, and then we would keep talking, and then I would gain a little bit more information. He had lots of details about a lot other things, other aspects of his life, but again, couldn't remember what happened that day.
And what kind of details specifically stick out to you that he was able to provide you during the course of the interview?
Things like we wanted his safe combination so we could check the safe, and he knew that, the safe combination. He knew a lot of details about who had access to that safe and who didn't. He had extensive.
So witnesses say that one of the children fled to a nearby field, but his father found him and brought him back to unalive him. It's just insane. Just why?
Details about when the last time Laura shot his gun, which was about 10 years ago, and who else was shooting the guns, and a lot of details about things like that.
And so again, did the trend continue that when you began to talk about his culpability, he lost all recognition of what was going on, but when you were talking about other details, he was fine answering your questions?
Yes.
Now, the interview.
There you go. Yes, he was fine with answering other questions. So I can see what the defense is trying to do, though. They're definitely trying to, go with the mentally ill thing. All right, let's change gears here. Stop sharing that. I'm getting much better at the stop sharing thing. And I want to go to this case here. This is coming out of, let me share screen here. So this guy here, the Soho 55 hotel unalive suspect, arrested in Arizona, and now they're having a battle between custody of this guy, saying he won't be extradited to New York. But let me play this one first, because this is, hold on a second.
One woman's coming forward to say her warnings
So this is from Inside Edition. So this, I'll let that video speak for itself.
about how dangerous this guy was were ignored.
This young woman says she tried to warn everyone about the suspected madman, now accused of launching a reign of terror across the USA, and no one would listen.
He said, "Scream and I'll kill you."
Leah Palian says she and the suspect, Rad Al-Mansouri, worked at a Florida restaurant. She says he attacked her when she let him sleep on her couch after a long day at work.
He starts strangling me with the utmost force. He goes straight under my throat. He knew exactly what he was doing, how to cut the airway off immediately. For some reason, he ended up letting up, and it was just like a state of shock and fear. Like I didn't even know how to process what just happened.
Palian says the suspect was arrested, but to her shock, assault charges were dropped.
I told them verbatim, if you let him walk, he will turn into the next Ted Bundy.
And sure enough, that's what police say happened. He's now accused of killing a young woman in a room in this hotel in New York. They say he even wore the dead woman's leggings as he fled the hotel.
Look at this. What a crazy guy, right? Yep, those definitely aren't his pants, right?
Then he flew to Arizona, where he allegedly stabbed 2 women in separate incidents. Now Al-Mansouri finds himself at the center of a shocking tug of war between 2 states. The prosecutor in Phoenix.
Yeah, they want to extradite. New York City wants to bring it back to New York for a murder suspect, and Arizona doesn't want to do it.
Is refusing to extradite him back to New York, at least for now, because she says the Manhattan DA is soft on crime.
It was just a couple of weeks ago that some of the illegal immigrants that were in New York City who beat up on police officers were let go. I'm putting the victims first and making sure that he stays in custody.
We have a homicide case. So there's really nothing more important than a murder case. So I would think that should take priority. We should not be talking about political grandstanding.
So what do you think about this battle? She's saying that the DA in New York has been soft on crime, and she wants to keep him in custody in Arizona.
Whatever keeps him off the streets and keeps him locked up, I think is the best measure.
In addition to Arizona and New York, detectives are looking at unsolved crimes in Florida and Texas, where al-Mansouri also lived.
All right, so let's go back to this other one. Where did I see that? Right here. There it is.
We want to turn our attention to a story that has gone coast to coast as a murder investigation has really turned into a shouting match between DAs in New York and Arizona. I do want to put up a live picture right there in New York City as we just passed the 5 o'clock hour. We're talking about a murder investigation at a Soho hotel and then the arrest that was made in Arizona after several stabbings. We want to be joined right now by Fox 5's Arthur Chien. Arthur, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And we're going to start with your perspective in New York. What do we know and what's the latest on this story?
Well, Andrew, the jaw-dropping development here is that the prosecutors in Arizona are denying New York's request to have the suspect in this murder case extradited to New York. Now, the way, as you know, extradition works is when a suspect is arrested in another state, the state in which a crime was committed can request that person be sent to them to face justice in that state. It's done for serious crimes, and certainly murder qualifies as a serious crime here. New York made the requests, but the prosecutor there said the reason why she is not granting it is because of the way the Manhattan District Attorney here in New York handles cases involving violent criminals.
Not be agreeing to extradition.
A simple sentence, but a devastating one in the case of the murder at the Soho 54 Hotel in Lower Manhattan, where 2 weeks ago, the body of 38-year-old Queens resident Denise Oleas Arab Sibia was found in room 1109. A broken.
I'm definitely off the grid here in New Hampshire, and it happens here too.
Iron believed to be the murder weapon after the medical examiner determined she was killed by blunt force trauma to her head. That was 2 weeks ago. And the good news yesterday was that police in Arizona arrested the suspect in the case, 26-year-old Rod al-Mansouri. But in an astonishing twist, Arizona officials tonight say they are refusing to extradite al-Mansouri to New York, saying Manhattan's district attorney, Alvin Bragg, cannot be trusted.
Having observed the treatment of violent criminals in the New York area by the Manhattan DA there, Alvin Bragg, I think it's safer to keep him here and keep him in custody.
The statement comes after Bragg's controversial handling of high-profile incidents, including the release of suspects in the case of migrants assaulting NYPD officers in Times Square, even kicking one in the head. As for al-Mansouri, Arizona police say he was arrested Sunday after stabbing a female McDonald's employee multiple times. He's accused of stabbing 2 women in the Phoenix area in his most recent violent spree, and in April, kidnapped and sexually assaulted a woman in Florida. But
This guy's a bad dude, man. This guy right here is a really bad guy.
if the refusal to extradite al-Mansouri to New York to face murder charges is rooted in the fear he could walk, some are asking why Florida set him free after he was arrested there for the kidnapping and assault.
So anyways, this guy's a bad dude. They're starting to get into the political thing here, and I don't want anything to do with it. So let's go to, I just wanted to play that because this guy here, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, responsible for a lot more than what's being done here. I'm going to play this one here again. This is, let's play this. Whoops. Hold on a second. Hey, CJK, how are you? Good to see you, kiddo. I'm going to go here.
but Maricopa County attorney is saying not yet. Fox 10's Marissa Sarbeck has the latest on this case tonight. Marissa.
Mark, Christina, we are talking about a lot of charges here. Between all of the states, we are talking about kidnapping, sexual assault, attempted murder, and murder charges. Now, we actually spoke with one of the women involved in that incident from Florida last year.
During his interview, Al-Mansouri also told us that he had intended to find and harm more individuals in our community.
After a violent crime spree from New York to Arizona to Florida, 26-year-old Rod Al-Mansouri is behind bars, and it looks like he won't be getting out anytime soon.
He said before he started strangling me, "Screaming, I'll kill you."
Leah Palian says she was one of Al-Mansouri's victims last year. He was accused of sexual battery, assault, and holding her against her will. But the Florida State Attorney's Office dropped most of the charges due to insufficient evidence. He was given a $2,500 bond.
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for the other women involved, for the families of
This woman right here is a very, very lucky person.
those women involved, when all of this could have been prevented.
From 2016 to early 2023, Al-Mansouri was charged with at least 13 crimes. This month, he's accused of strangling a woman in a New York City hotel room on February 7th, then flying to Arizona, stabbing and stealing a car from a woman in Phoenix this past Saturday.
Where do people get the money for this stuff? You know what I mean? Just flying to, you know, that can't be a cheap flight from New York to Arizona.
And attempting to rape and murder an employee at a McDonald's in Surprise this past Sunday. He is now being held in Maricopa County Jail without bail.
I want to applaud the state prosecutors and
he is now being held in.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me read this. This is a probable cause statement. So, Road Al-Mansouri committed attempted murder and aggravated assault. When he poked the victim multiple times while in the women's bathroom of the McDonald's located. This was in Arizona. Videos of analysts showed the suspect eating food in the restaurant in eyesight of the women's bathroom. What a douchebag this guy is. The victim, an employee of the business, went into the women's bathroom and locked herself in the bathroom stall. As the suspect began pounding on the stall door, the victim said she did not let him in, and he climbed under the door into the bathroom stall. He then pointed a gun at her. When she screamed, he stopped. Oh, great. Oh.
Is now being held in Maricopa County Jail without bail.
I want to applaud the state prosecutors in Arizona because I think that's amazing. I think that's what Florida should have done and what they screwed up on.
The Manhattan District Attorney is attempting to extradite Al-Mansouri to New York for the February 7th murder, but Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell said no. In response, the Manhattan DA wrote in a statement, quote, "It is deeply disturbing that DA Mitchell is playing political games in a murder investigation. New York's murder rate is less than half that of Phoenix, Arizona, because of the..."
So let's get out of that. I just wanted to play that because this is a bad dude here. He's definitely guilty of more of these. So let's. I'm going to go here to this. Let me go to the Elijah Vu thing. So they haven't found this poor little kid yet. But I'll go to this first. This is the the mother appears in the court with the Jesse Vang guys. So this poor kid went missing in Wisconsin, Two Rivers area, and this happened right after, literally right after Audrey Montgomery, I think.
Is 12/9 of 92. She is currently receiving SSDI and therefore is not employed. She has a history of making court dates except for 2 occasions. In 2017, she had a bench warrant issued, but 2 days later it was withdrawn without a hearing. Then she had another missed court in a CT matter, and that was restored to a signature bond within a week.
All right, thank you. We'll hear from the DA, and then my understanding is there are some victims that wish to speak. They do have a right to speak on the subject of bail only today. And then I will give Attorney Larson the last word before I make a decision. Attorney LaBrie.
Commissioner, the state is asking for $15,000 cash bail. We're asking for no contact with the co-defendant, Jesse Vang. We're also asking for no contact with any.
I mean, they must know something, or at least be onto something with this whole thing while arresting her. That's just my opinion. Yeah, and I agree with Southern Gal. I don't think this one's going to end well either.
Children under the age of 18. Judge Dietz has already found probable cause. That was done yesterday with an affidavit submitted to the judge. So probable cause has been established by a circuit court judge. The state feels that the cash bond is warranted based upon the facts that are listed in the affidavit before Your Honor, as well as the fact that she intentionally sent that child for disciplinary reasons for more than a week to the residence. She was aware of the tactics used and the lack of care provided. This was an intentional thing by her. And on at least 2 occasions during interviews, she has provided false information on her whereabouts during the past week. So there is a concern of providing false information to officers. So there is additional charges of obstructing that will be coming. She does not reside in Manitowoc County. She does have, as Attorney Larson referenced, some prior matters. She has 17 CT 752 out of Outagamie County, where I counted 4 missed court appearances. February 1st, 2018, where a bench warrant was authorized. That was returned on warrant February 9th. May 16th, 2018, bench warrant was issued. Return on warrant was May 23rd. On August 14th, 2018, failed to appear for the plea hearing. Bench warrant authorized. Return on warrant October 19th.
So this is where this is. I don't know what's wrong with people, buddy. It's just annoying. Makes you angry, you know. It's just so. This is the area of interest here. This is in Wisconsin, I think. Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. Population is 11,000. That was done in 2020. So this is the area here. Let me back out a little bit. So I know they were searching some landfill area out here. Just wondering if I can. What, the recycling, you think? Does this look familiar? Anyways, I'll go back to the other thing, but I just wanted to give people a yes, the mail too. This is just really strange. This whole thing is rather bizarre. But I know they were in searching that landfill area there.
Failed to appear, bench warrant returned on November 15th. Then in 17 CT 236 out of Outagamie County, there was a missed court on June 21st. The return on warrant was June 23rd. She also had from 2011 in Winnebago County. I think she, based upon her lack of ties, the seriousness of the offense, the prior missed court appearances, that a significant cash bail is warranted, and I would ask the court to impose that with the other conditions requested. Thank you.
And I'll just review. It was the no contact with person.
All right, so let's stop that. I'll do this one here. This is done 2 days ago, so we'll kind of do a chronological thing here. Oops. Okay, so this was done 2 days ago. So what's today? Sunday? So Friday? Search for missing Twin Rivers boy moves into the second day. So this is the second day here.
Now. We don't want to think about the bad stuff that may possibly have happened to him, and we're hopeful.
Being a mother, like I said, I have a 3-year-old boy, so knowing that the community is here supporting is just so comforting to know that, because if this were to happen to my family, I know the community has my back.
The search for a missing 3-year-old in Two Rivers now moves into its second day. Good afternoon.
Never, Dean. We'd never laugh at that. This reminds me of that case. What the heck was the name of that landfill? Not too long ago, they were searching for a kid in a landfill. The hell was that kid's name? I forget now.
And thank you for joining us here at 4:30. These are live looks right now at Two Rivers, where the search for Elijah Vu is in its 32nd hour. We have multiple crews on the scene, both downtown, an apartment complex that has been of interest.
Is that Summer Wells? Was that the who I'm thinking of?
In this case, we'll receive an update from law enforcement, we are told, sometime later today. This is an aerial view of search parties this morning as they began their searches. And as we've been following, 3-year-old Elijah was last seen at a home on Mishicot Road yesterday morning around 8 a.m. He was reported missing by an adult caregiver 3 hours later. An Amber Alert was issued yesterday afternoon. Law enforcement, first responders, search crews, as you see, have been combing the area throughout the night.
That's what I thought. Weren't they looking for her in a landfill too, and they didn't find her there? I know that they were looking for somebody in a landfill over the summer. They got a tip that she might have been over there.
And at times collecting any evidence. And that search continues at this hour. Let's bring in our Jason Zimmerman live from Two Rivers as he has been following this all day long. Jason, what are you seeing now? What is happening right now?
Another cute kid. I mean, look at this kid.
Right now, to your knowledge.
Well, Chris, we're hoping to hear from investigators soon. We have not heard from police since the beginning of this search for Elijah Vu. Right behind me now, this apartment complex that we've been talking to, that's right off Mishicot Road. I can tell you that for most of the day, there's been a heavy police presence here.
The good news is they did have an Amber Alert in Galveston, Texas last week, right around the same time that Audrey Cunningham went missing. But they did find the girl or the person who was missing in Galveston, Texas, and she was fine. So that is good news with that one.
We've seen the DCI as well in the parking lot with their vehicles. So there's been a search that has focused around this this apartment complex, which we believe is a place of interest. It may possibly be the last place where Elijah was seen before he went missing yesterday.
Yeah, they're not giving a lot of information on that, but she was found on a bus or something like that. Who knows? They were vacationing. They were vacationing there in Texas. They were from New York, and that's what prompted the Amber Alert.
I can also tell you it's a spot last night when I was out here on the far side of the building, right where I'm pointing there.
I actually talked about that on my last live, and Dandy Linus was the one that she posted the whole area where she went missing.
That's where police had surrounded that area by the tree, and they found certain items which were put into evidence bags and taken with them. Now, we don't want to speculate on what those items were, but there were several items here, and we don't know whether they were connected to Elijah or not. Police would not comment at the moment they were removing those items, but we do know that evidence has been.
You can throw your website in. I mean, your YouTube page in here, Southern Gal. Southern Gal is awesome. Check her out. She's great. Hey, Karen Lee, how are you? It's Karen Lee. I hope you're feeling better. Karen Lee is in the house. Southern Gal has great content. I was just on her live earlier. Great person. She, I think she's at like 480 subscribers now. So go check her out. Great people.
Collected out here, and that the search across the city is still ongoing.
Jason, we had some comments from folks at the beginning of the show. Some you gathered today. Who did you talk to today? What did they tell you?
Well, I talked to several people who are searching right around this apartment complex, a lot of them neighbors, people in the community. But the one key person that I spoke to was Elijah's uncle, Orson Vu. He happened to stop by here on the road. I spoke to him last night when he pulled up, and so I recognized him right away. I went back over there. I talked to him. He gave me a lot more information today. He says he was brief.
Who would do that? Who would send their child to somebody for disciplinary actions? That just doesn't sound. That's not even. Doesn't even make any sense. I slept 14 hours and now I'm coughing. Oh no, that sucks. They have these little tiny coughing pills that my wife usually gets from the doctor. I forget what they're called. They're like little tiny pills. They work really good. I hope you start feeling better. Oh, you poor thing.
Briefed by a detective early this morning who basically said, we're going to continue this search throughout the day, but he didn't have a whole lot of new information. So the family's telling me, the uncle told me they're just waiting for details. They're still holding.
I think that's the case that I was just talking about, Quentin Simon, right? That was the case over the summer where they were searching a landfill. Those people look actually Mongolian. Are they Mongolian? They look Mongolian to you? Stay the hell away from me. I'm just kidding.
Out hope. They're extremely worried right now. He says they're having more family come to the area today in light of what has happened to be together. And so they're just out there asking people.
Is it just a cough, Karen? Or did you have other shit? Because I had that early this year. I had like the cough just wouldn't go freaking away. It was awful. I actually ended up going to the emergency room because I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. Elijah Vu is part. Okay, they're called him on. Okay. It's hard to tell because
once again, that if you have information to please go to the police and share it. He says that, they are worried and they are very grateful, though, for the hundreds of volunteers that have participated in the search for Elijah at this point.
Jason, to our eye, what's happening behind you, there's not as much activity as maybe you mentioned what you saw last night. Is there still police presence on the other side of that building, that apartment complex?
Well, up until just a short time ago, there was a decent police presence out here in the parking lot. As I mentioned, both local police and the DCI. I can tell you that right now there's a single police car sitting over here over my left shoulder that's keeping an eye on the area. But I believe it's just to, guard evidence or guard a perimeter to keep people away that shouldn't be in a particular spot. But the majority of the police did leave a short time ago. And again, it might have to do with them telling us that they're going to release an updated statement a short time from now with some new details. So we don't.
No, I don't think so. Just playing. They're just playing a chronological. This was done a couple of days ago, I think. Oh, okay. So you probably have the flu or something like that. Yes, they are. The Chinese people are kind of difficult to figure out who they are because I think it's like 55% of Chinese people are actually Yuan or Han Chinese. My brother actually spoke fluent Chinese. So I mean, I've done a lot of research on China and the ethnicity, but don't forget the Mongols took over, especially northern China, for a whole dynasty. So a lot of the people might have more of a Mongolian look.
Don't know what they're doing at the moment, but I can tell you the command, the vehicle that was out here as well, left also today a short time ago. So at this point, we're just waiting to hear what police might potentially tell us in the next hour or so.
All right, Jason, let's go to that wait. You've covered a lot of cases like this in your career. Is it unusual? I mean, we're talking 30 plus hours since he was last seen. It's been 18 plus hours since we last had a release of information from law enforcement. That came last night via social media. We're told it's going to happen again later today, but there's been a long gap here. Is that unusual?
You know, I've covered a lot of these cases where kids have gone missing or people have gone missing over the last few decades. And I can tell you that it's somewhat unusual. Typically, when somebody goes missing, you see the police on television right away. They're trying to put out a description of a potential suspect. They're asking people for information, providing any type of clues that they can. That was not the case here. We've yet to hear police go on TV or take questions from the local media. So that is a little bit unusual. The other thing is we don't know what happened here. People were told that the child was last seen around 8 a.m., but was reported missing around 11. So yesterday, between those hours, is kind of a mystery. And that's one of the questions we'd like to ask. And also, typically a search party might go door to door. You see posters go up, you see family members speaking out. We remember that with Teresa Hallbuck many years ago when she went missing in Manitowoc in County, and that was the plea that went out. We haven't quite seen that, but we have seen a search that's focused on the water. We've seen boats go out. We've also seen a search with ATVs on farmland right outside the city. So a little bit different type of atmosphere.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. And we'll get that update from you as soon as it becomes available. Again, law enforcement telling us.
All right, so this was done. Let's play this one.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at 4:30. We begin with the latest in the search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu of Two Rivers. This is what we know right now. As we first alerted you earlier today, Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, is in the Manitowoc County Jail, referred on possible charges of party to a crime, child neglect. Community groups are continuing their searches of the areas around where Elijah went missing on Tuesday morning. And then there is this scene at a landfill near Hilbert, one of the 3 landfills that Manitowoc County uses to dispose of trash. You can see multiple investigators on that site. They are combing through an area that is marked off by police tape. We also know the FBI is on that scene. What we don't know is if this scene is connected to the search for Elijah, only that it is the site of an active investigation. We have crews on that scene working to learn more. For more on what we do know about the mother being in custody and the ongoing search, let's join Brittany Schmidt live in Two Rivers. And Brittany, let's just start with what you know about the mom being in custody tonight.
Right. So, Chris, we went right to the Manitowoc County Courthouse this morning, right to the clerk's office, and they weren't able to give us a sheet of when she was supposed to be in court, but we were able to provide her name, a name of another person that is likely connected to this case. And then the clerk's office was able to tell us that they were supposed to be in court at 12:45 today, but around 11, we learned that that was no longer the case. They delayed it until tomorrow afternoon. We do know that the mom, Katrina Bauer, has been in custody, in police custody, since yesterday morning around 3:48 in the morning. And I asked them, what is she being held on? And I was told that a possible charge of party to a crime of child neglect. Now, the other individual that was supposed to appear as well, we are not identifying him because we have not truly connected him to this case, but he is going to appear alongside her. He has been in custody since the night of the disappearance of Elijah Vu.
I mean, this case just sounds really, really bizarre. Central Park East.
He is looking at a possible charge of child neglect as well.
All right, Brittany, you mentioned there that they were originally scheduled to appear today at 12:45. That's been pushed back. You've covered a lot of court cases. What kinds of things could lead to a postponement like this?
You know, Chris, it's not unusual, but it was unexpected in this case because we had confirmed it this morning. But you know, there are several things that could lead to the delay. Did investigators need a little bit more information, more probable cause to hold them? Did they get more information and are trying to go through all of those avenues? Did one of them talk to police and tell them what may have happened or where Elijah is, or that they have no idea where he is? All of this stuff, so many reasons as to could there be potential other charges that they're looking at. So really everything is unconfirmed at this point. We won't know until police tell us. But as soon as we did learn that their court cases, their court appearances had been delayed, we went right to the clerk's office, asked them why. I was told that it's been sealed. So I went to the district attorney's office and asked them why it's been delayed. They could not comment at the time, just to say that they will likely appear tomorrow.
All right, Brittany, we mentioned that the FBI was on the scene at that landfill in Hilbert. We also know the FBI, and again, that scene we don't know is connected, but we know the FBI has been involved in the search for Elijah as well. What have you heard from them on this?
Yeah, so I had contact with them around 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon, just asking what their role in this is, because we know when an Amber Alert comes down, the FBI is going to respond. They told me that Two Rivers Police Department is still taking lead on the investigation. The FBI is here to assist local and state agencies. They're assisting with resources. I tried to ask the FBI, you know, what kind of resources are they providing here? She was not able to give me that information. She said that's confidential at this time. So that's the extent of what I know that the FBI is here doing.
All right, Brittany, thanks so much. And we still await an update, if possible, from Two Rivers Police, as Brittany said, the lead investigator unit on this story.
Hey, Ms.
We will continue to follow this story. We'll have team coverage, and we will.
Hey, Ms. Persevere, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, Vang. Yes, the guy, yes, I agree with the confession thing. I hope they're keeping that too. I've been trying to find the path to the, here we go with maps again with me, the path to, from where they just were to the, hold on, the landfill. Twin Rivers Recycling Center right there. So, yeah, I'd have to go. Anyways, I'll do that behind the scenes here, but I'd like to take a look at that drive.
We will first alert you of any developments both on air and on our app.
So that was 3 days ago. This was done 10 hours ago, so we'll watch this one here. Hold on a second.
Our live stream this morning as we continue the search for that missing 3-year-old in Two Rivers, Elijah Vu, still missing this morning. We want to keep sharing his photo and his description here. He's 3 feet tall, weighs 45 pounds, and has brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing gray pants and red and green dinosaur slippers, and he could be.
So he's, that's the state tip line. I should, I don't think I can copy that. State tip line, 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, brown hair and eyes. So, I'll try to put that on a ticker. I don't think I'll be able to because I can. Oh, hold on a second. Let me. I guess I could write it down because I got a pencil here. I'll play this. 844 6766 48. Beautiful.
Red, white, and black plaid blanket. He also has a birthmark on his left knee. Police confirming that Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer, Elijah's mom, are in custody and could be charged with child neglect. They are expected to be in court this afternoon on a bail hearing. Authorities telling us that case is sealed. On
What I want to know is who is this guy? Right, there's the mom, and she sent him, this kid Elijah Vu, over to this guy for disciplinary. Right? Is that what we heard? It just doesn't make any sense.
Thursday, we saw law enforcement conducting an investigation in Calumet County at the Hickory Meadows landfill. Action 2 News confirming the FBI is assisting in the search of that area. This aerial view from our sister station, WISN, showing investigators were set up in part of the landfill with an excavator. This landfill is one of 3 sites used by Manitowoc County for its garbage disposal. Again, police telling us they will continue to conduct large-scale searches and looking for Elijah. saying, quote, "We will leave no stone unturned." Our Emily Roberts live in Two Rivers this morning is she's been following the search for Elijah since he first went missing. And Emily, no one giving up hope. What are authorities saying as to how people can help?
Emerson, police are still encouraging people to do what we've been saying all week, checking those surveillance cameras, checking those doorbell videos for any signs of Elijah, hopefully Elijah himself safe. But that's just the first way that they're saying that folks can help. Take a look at your screen here. Here are some other ways that they're allowing the public to kind of get involved. They're asking everyone to still check places a small child could hide, climb, or fall. Plus, keep an eye out for anything that doesn't belong to you, like
Search for Elijah Fu continues. Check places where a child can climb, hide, or fall. Look out for items you don't own, like Elijah plaid. For items you don't own, like Elijah's plaid blanket. And they want people to check surveillance, doorbell video.
Elijah's plaid blanket. And as you said, Emerson, I've been out here all week. I've been following so many different search parties, looking around the streets.
Thank you, Southern Gal. I did it.
The neighborhoods, the woods, some of them even going along the shoreline to the beaches.
I knew where this place was here because I could try to chart this. I mean, this kid could be anywhere.
And that's exactly what
Somebody's got to have some sort of you would think in places like this, somebody has some sort of a door cam or.
These searchers told me. They told me they're looking for anything, particularly in the woods, that doesn't usually look like it would belong in the woods. They're looking for absolutely any sign of Elijah, but they tell me that the best case scenario is, of course, the police come out with an update and they say that they found Elijah safe and warm somewhere. Our Action 2 News team.
I mean, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Because this disappearance happened right after Audrey Cunningham. I remember, and you would think that somebody here in this building would have some sort of a security camera somewhere, door cam, doorbell, door ring, something like that.
Also spoke with Destiny and Tiana. Now, they've been out every single day looking for Elijah like so many other people have, and they tell me that they've been looking in all of those spots I already mentioned, but they're also going to places like playgrounds, places that they remember going to as
No way, Southern Gal. I just I type, that's all, and I wanted to write that number down. Hey, Dean, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks for everything. Dean Johnson's great. I always see him in Rick Snae's chat.
a kid. So they're really, going back in time thinking, where might Elijah go? And using that.
Have a great weekend, Dean.
To try to find him as quickly as possible. But over the past week that I've been here, each day, the number of people searching, it's more heartbreaking, it's more urgent, but less and less people are coming out here. First night when Elijah initially went missing, hundreds, our Action 2 News team could just see the streets filled with folks on foot, on bike, driving in their cars looking for Elijah. The next day, a couple dozen, and then that number it keeps shrinking. It's a lot more quiet in Two Rivers right now.
Yeah, this is StreamYard. I found out about the ticker maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Actually, I knew about the ticker a long time ago. I just figured out how to use it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
But we know that there is going to be from Elijah's aunt. She's saying that she's asking people to help out today in the Manitowoc area, meeting at Washington Park after the expected bail hearing. So that could be probably any point after 1 p.m., really trying to expand that search to get Elijah home.
I want to appreciate everybody for coming in. Just persevere. Thank you guys for coming in. I know it's late.
And Emily, the Two Rivers Police Chief, I know a lot of people have been following along with this on social media, following our channels as well. And the Two Rivers Police Chief last night making an update on social media, kind of with a message to those people who are asking for more information. What is the police department there saying?
Right. Police, as you said, Emerson leaving no stone unturned. That's in their message. And a lot of folks posting on social media. There are so many groups with some wording around find Elijah, bring Elijah home, things like that. And there are some posts that are making assumptions, trying to make a narrative, trying to get some answers. And so police are kind of addressing that. Let me read this statement to you. This is part of what they posted on Facebook. They say, quote, "We are working with state and federal agencies, and we are only releasing information that we are able to without jeopardizing this ongoing and multifaceted."
We are working with state and federal agencies, and we are only releasing information that we're able to without jeopardizing the ongoing. So they must know something. Some might be frustrated. However, everything we do is well thought out and planned, and they combine it for. So they must know something. That's what that tells me right there.
Investigation. Some might be frustrated. However, everything we do is well thought out and planned in a combined effort with our main priority in locating Elijah, end quote. So along with what the Two Rivers police say is their main priority in locating Elijah.
I remember I tried another streaming service last year. I think it was last year. I forget the name of the streaming service. But I had no idea how to work the thing. So I think Jinx was there, and I think Copper Horse was there, and I somehow shut the whole stream off. I don't know how I did. Never went back to that one, but I liked it. It's just it was really one thing I like about StreamYard is it's fairly easy to use.
All of these community groups, all of these members, even if they're not going out on the streets, even if they're in these Facebook groups, so many people are putting their hearts out there, really wanting to get this little boy home. I know today so many people are posting that they are lighting candles whenever they can. Some
We'd never persevere, ever.
Even leaving little stuffed animals out on their doorsteps to show support, and many today wearing blue for Elijah.
Emily Roberts doing great work in Two Rivers all week. Emily, thank you. We want to show this picture again of Elijah Vu, 3 years old, from Two Rivers, last seen in Two Rivers on Tuesday morning.
I mean, that's what I don't understand. Why? I mean, people would do stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. So that's the 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, brown hair and eyes. I got the ticker running on that phone number right now.
At roughly 8 o'clock in the morning. If you have any information on his whereabouts, where he might be, if you find anything that you think could help in the investigation, you're asked to call the state tip line. That number right there on your screen. It's 844-267-6648. And now it's time.
All right, so let me, I'll get rid of this here, stop sharing that, and I want to go and play this. Can't believe I've already been here almost 2 hours. So I'm going to play the press conference here. Hold on a second. I think this is the latest one. I'm not sure. This is one of them.
My name is Ben Meinert, the Chief of Police with Two Rivers Police Department. I'd like to provide everybody with an update on our efforts to locate a 3-year-old missing boy, Elijah Vu.
See, I typically learn a lot from the press conferences because somehow I can read into what they're saying, and there's certain things that I look for in the press conferences to tell whether or not they actually know anything or not.
Who's been missing from our community since yesterday morning. Our hearts go out to Elijah's family during this incredibly difficult time. We want to assure them and the public that we are doing everything in our power to bring Elijah home safely. I will not discuss specific strategies related to the search for Elijah because I simply don't want to limit the information our community has to offer. Since the moment Elijah was reported missing, our law enforcement from local, state, and federal agencies, along with dedicated volunteers and community members, have been working tirelessly around the clock to search every inch of our city and beyond into the county. Our search and rescue teams have been combing through our neighborhoods, parks, wooded areas, and they've been following up on all leads and tips from the public. We still have an active Amber Alert. That Amber Alert for Elijah, we are continuing to follow every and all avenues.
I mean, you just want to do so much. It's awful.
Elijah is a 3-year-old male. He was last seen at approximately 8 a.m. yesterday in the 3800 block of Mishkat Road here in the city of Two Rivers. Elijah is approximately 3 feet tall, 45 to 55 pounds, with brown eyes and dark blonde hair. He was wearing dark colored sweatpants and shoes with a dinosaur print. I want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to everyone who has volunteered their time, resources, and support to assist in the search for Elijah. Your unwavering commitment to the well-being of Elijah and our community is inspiring. We could not do this without you. As we continue our efforts, I want to emphasize the importance of remaining vigilant and proactive. Additionally, I want to remind everyone to please refrain from spreading rumors and false information. This can hinder our search efforts for Elijah. All official facts and information regarding this search will come from us at the Two Rivers Police Department. Let us focus on our collective energy on supporting one another and bringing Elijah home. If you haven't done so, please check your home surveillance and search your personal property, but also be mindful of others' private property. We urge anyone with any information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, please come forward and share that with law enforcement immediately. Every piece of information could be the key to bringing Elijah home. Anyone with information can call the state tip line. We've provided that number, 844-267-6648, or utilize the P3 Crime Stoppers app. You can choose to remain anonymous. The Two Rivers Police Department will provide updates as more information becomes available. Again, thank you. Thank you once again for your continued support and all the cooperation that we've had during these challenging times. Thank you.
Chief, do you have a suspect right now? And where are the mother and father in all of this?
Sorry, we're not going to take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Can you talk a little?
No, Deanna, 2 days of nonstop searching. Police finally broke their silence about this case, but didn't shed any light on what they think happened to Elijah. Wednesday night, Two Rivers police going before the cameras for the first time in the search for 3-year-old Elijah Vu.
I assure them and the public that we are doing everything in our power to bring Elijah home safely.
Investigators pleading for help from the public.
Anyone with any information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, please come forward and share that.
But not.
They're looking. They're trying to get somebody to come forward with some sort of. There's got to be somebody that saw something or had something on video or something like that. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. I've been on here almost 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Just got to watch your kids. You know, you just this is just insane what's been going on lately. A rash of disappearances and unalivings. That poor Audrey Cunningham. Let me do that. Let's see here. That's what I was going to do. That poor kid. So we're going to do this one here. I wanted to play this. This is coming from the sheriff. Let me play this. Okay. So let's play this. Thanks, Southern Gal. All right, so I'm going to share this. This is coming from the sheriff. This is another one of those cases where I can't believe this stuff happens. You know, it's All right, so here we go. So Audrey Cunningham was found earlier, later this in the week here, and this is the sheriff saying they dropped the ball in this case. Here we go.
Admitted in audio obtained by Fox 4 that his department, quote, dropped the ball in a previous assault case involving her alleged killer. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Investigators discovered the body of Audrey Cunningham in the Trinity River near Houston earlier this week. Last week, after she was reported missing, authorities arrested.
Thank you, Southern Girl. I appreciate it. Southern Gal.
Don McDougal on a separate assault charge. Turns out that assault happened last summer, and authorities missed the chance to arrest him before he allegedly killed this young girl. Fox 4's Blake Hansen has the latest tonight. Blake.
Stephen, Heather, the sheriff's office down there told a Houston station that the victim initially identified the wrong person. The victim's attorney disagreed, though, with that characterization and said that his client said with certainty that McDougal was his attacker all the way back in September. Don McDougal was no stranger to the criminal justice system when authorities shared he was the last person seen with.
This is the stuff that has to change right here. You know, it's these people just get re-released back into society. They get missed. It's just these people do not belong in society, period.
Audrey Cunningham before her disappearance. His rap sheet includes convictions for assault and child enticement. This week, the Polk County District Attorney charged him with capital murder after authorities discovered Cunningham's body in the Trinity River. The medical examiner says she died of blunt trauma to the head. After Cunningham's disappearance, the Polk County Sheriff's Office initially jailed him on an aggravated assault charge. But court documents show that assault case dates back to August 19th, when a woman and McDougal asked a man for help jumping a car. When the man helped, McDougal allegedly stabbed him in the back multiple times. Polk County Sheriff Byron Lyons said Monday that McDougal finally talked about the case when arrested last week.
During that investigation, there was some circumstances that took place that would not allow us to be able to arrest him at that time. And he would not cooperate, would not basically lawyered up, would not talk with the investigators.
A timeline the sheriff's office shared with Houston station KPRC reveals he had been on investigators' radar since September. The sheriff's office said the victim initially identified another man before saying he was certain it was McDougal who attacked him. The victim's girlfriend met with the sheriff about a lack of progress in the investigation in November. An audio recording was obtained by Fox 4.
We dropped the ball on it, and we're trying to find the ball to get it fixed.
The stabbing victim's attorney, Dave Feldman, told me over the phone Friday it's a fair statement in conclusion that had this been properly investigated, had the ball not been dropped, I don't think you'd be talking to me about the disappearance and murder of Audrey Cunningham. McDougal is charged with capital murder in the Cunningham case. The district attorney there has not yet.
You know, I feel bad for law enforcement because sometimes these people are limited on what they can do because of, you know, laws. I mean, we'd like to get in the posse and go chase these people down, but there's so many loopholes and stuff you got to go through. It's just these people right here, in my opinion, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care who disagrees with me. These people here that assault children and do stuff like this do not belong in society. We work too hard for this shit. This is just not acceptable.
Decided whether to seek the death penalty. Stephen, Heather.
I mean, honestly, no. Let's play this one here.
Tonight, a vigil was held for little Audrey Cunningham. We've brought you extensive coverage from the day an Amber Alert was issued for Audrey. And today, a man is charged with capital murder in her death. Fox 26's Abigail Dye joining us live with details on these new charges. Also, an exclusive interview with the victim from that suspect.
Don Stephen McDougal, that's the man accused of causing this terrible tragedy. And I've spoken with yet another person who was affected by his violent past. With heavy hearts, Livingston is healing.
We will not have her walking through our doors anymore, but instead having her walk beside us in faith.
After this Amber Alert turned into a murder investigation.
I sadly announced that Audrey's body was located
Oh, I like that hat.
at the Trinity River on the U.S. Highway 59.
11-year-old Audrey Cunningham was the center of a search for nearly a week. But after that discovery, Don Stephen McDougal, a family friend who lived on the property, was charged with capital murder. The court document saying McDougal was supposed to drop Audrey off at the bus stop February 15th.
True statement. True statement. You know, you got to look at all of the situations here for sure.
But he never did. It says cell phone.
This guy here should have never been around children, period. But there's children everywhere. So that's why I say these people here don't belong outside of prison bars. They just don't.
And other data plate.
They're, like Steve says, they're animals. They're literally animals. They just don't belong out here.
East McDougal at the location that Audrey's body was found.
They don't belong anywhere, in my opinion, but they just definitely don't belong out here.
And that rope found at that location was consistent with rope found in McDougal's car. He's a monster. I don't feel.
Now, those are just my opinions, so take them with a grain of salt, but they just don't.
Like he should be able to breathe the same air that we're breathing. We told you about McDougal's criminal rap sheet, including.
Look at this. Look at that. I mean, let's see this again. Like, this is not
sheet,
good.
including enticing a.
This is not good here. Like 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This guy does not belong in society.
Enticing a child and multiple assault convictions. Caitlin Boland watched one of those assaults happen to her boyfriend in 2019 when court records say McDougal attacked him with a metal pipe.
He was gushing blood from his head, so it was pretty bad.
She says McDougal was a neighbor and the attack was likely an effort to steal their car.
When I was
Agreed, Southern Gal. Agreed.
watching that, it's like words can't even explain. I felt helpless. I felt like there was nothing I could do. It was crazy. It was definitely something I don't want to live through again.
We spoke with another victim who McDougal attacked with a knife in 2010.
Terrifying. You know, it really was. I mean, like I said, he seemed like a nice guy, but then he's got this whole other side to him that no one seemed to know about until now.
Now the search for Audrey has turned to a search for justice.
There's nothing.
You're welcome, CJK. It's just, and that's why I literally got involved in this whole true crime thing because of that. The victims who just can't protect themselves. I mean, when you're attacked or in a violent crime, you can't protect yourself. But I feel bad for the people that can't, like children, domestic violence, people who have disabilities that can't protect themselves. This is, these people here who do this to children, and to just know there is absolutely no place for them anywhere in this society.
That we could possibly say that will bring her back to us.
I'm praying for y'all, and I'm so sorry that monster had to come ever into their life.
Now, McDougal is in jail tonight. He's being held without bond. And some new information tonight. We now know Audrey's visitation is on Friday, March 1st at the First Baptist Church. That's in Livingston from 5 to 8 p.m. Now, the funeral is the next morning at Rosary St. Joseph Catholic Church, also in Livingston. We'll post those details on fox26houston.com.
All right.
Along with this.
So that's that. I just wanted to play that. She's been on my mind for sure. I knew when they found the backpack, though, that things weren't going well. But, you still have hope. You still have, because like I said, there was another Amber Alert that was issued the same day, I think, as this one here. Might have been the day after for Audrey Cunningham in Galveston. And hey, buddy, how are you? And she was found up in Galveston alive. So there is hope sometimes. It's just about to get out of here, buddy. Frosty is great too. Go check out his channel. Frosty is an absolute awesome guy. Coach Kev, all those guys. You guys can post that in here. But I've been on here for 2 hours, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. I may come on later at 4 or 5-ish. I'm not sure. But I want to thank everybody for coming in. Southern Gal, of course. Frosty, CJK. Miss Persevere, Miranda Lee was here. Karen was here. I hope Karen feels better. Karen's awesome. Who else was in here? Dean was in here. Dean Johnson. Yep. I was in here. Let's see here. Miss Persevere. I think I said that before. And if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. Heather Brown was in here for a little while. I know it's late when I come on, so anybody that comes in, that's great. But I got the best people in my chat. Thank you very much for coming in. I'll play. Yes, we're passing in the night again. My schedule changed, Frosty. I don't work. I work Friday nights now, and I'm off on Saturday nights. So my streams will probably be Saturday night into Sunday morning instead of Friday night, which is better for me. So I like having my Saturday nights off. But everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe. If you're not feeling well, I hope you feel better. Frosty is great. Check it. Frosty. If you got your thing, post it in here, buddy. But I'll see you all later. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Thank you.